1999, a Russian expedition ventured into a sacred mountain in Tibet. They claimed to have discovered a giant prehistoric pyramid complex there. However, during the expedition, a chain of unexplainable phenomena occurred. According to leaked testimonies, their electronic devices failed, compasses spun wildly, GPS died, radios had zero signal. What's more terrifying, some team members suffered mysterious rapid aging, hair and nails growing wildly, skin wrinkling overnight, as if time itself had been distorted. Even stranger details emerged. Team members saw strange halos in the sky and heard unidentifiable low-frequency sounds. Some had hallucinations of ancient cities and robed figures. Others claimed that in one valley, time was distorted. One day felt like an hour, or like 10 years. Doctors could not explain the aging with altitude sickness, UV damage, or frostbite. All medical data pointed to one thing: their biological age was truly increasing at an unnatural speed. After returning, some members never recovered. A few died young. Hi guys, welcome to Oriental Universe. You might have already learned a lot about the world's highest plateau, Tibet. And nowadays, climbing the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, is no longer an unachievable dream, as a number of around 800 successful summits were recorded in the year 2024 and 2025. But do you know in China there are some peaks that haven't been conquered until today, despite they are much lower than Mount Everest? Here are some major ones. 缅字母、卡尔格博、家人安家 Peak 6,509 in Meili Snow Range, Yunnan Province. 扇子斗 Jade Dragon Snow Mountain in Yunnan Province. 卡尔江 in Tibet. Kailash in Tibet. And in this episode, we'll talk about Mount Kailash, a mountain unconquered today, not only because technical problems, but also because it's shrouded in mysteries and secret stories. Is it a cosmic energy hub, or astral gate, or a relic of lost civilization? Without further ado, let me guide you on the journey. Mount Kailash lies hidden in a remote corner of Tibet. The Gari prefecture, where it is located, has an average altitude of 4,600 meters. It is known as the roof of the world's roof, one of the coldest and least densely populated regions on Earth. Mount Kailash stands at 6,656 meters above sea level, with its base at around 4,500 to 4,656 meters. The vertical difference is about 2,100 meters. Mountains with greater relative height inspire more awe in people. Among the countless towering peaks in Tibet, this elevation difference is hardly remarkable. But look at the overall view. Dozens of kilometers to its south lies the western section of the endless ranges of the Himalayas, where endless ranges rise majestically one after another. At sunrise, sunlight floods the mountain ridges, forming an extraordinarily long golden crown. With this stunning view, you might begin to understand why it's revered as a sacred mountain. But the truth is way more deep and profound than its majestic looking. Mount Kailash is believed to be Axis Mundi, aka World Axis, in four major Asian religions: Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Bom. In Hinduism, Kailash means Shiva's heaven in Sanskrit. Thus, Mount Kailash is considered to be the dwelling of Lord Shiva, one of the most powerful deities in Hinduism. For thousands of years, Hindus have traveled thousands of miles from India to worship at the foot of Mount Kailash. Bathing in Lake Manasarovar at Mount Kailash foot has become a religious tradition. The pilgrimage route from India to Buran, the county at the foot of Mount Kailash, has been busy year after year. However, the 1962 Sino-Indian War broke this millennium-old practice. China and India successively closed their border ports, cutting off the pilgrimage route for Hindus. But good news is, after multiple rounds of negotiations, China finally decided to reopen the Kora route for Indian pilgrims in 2026. In Buddhism, Mount Kailash is a manifestation of Mount Sumeru on Earth. In Vedic texts, Mount Sumeru is the axis mundi, also known as the cosmic center, world axis, world pillar, or cosmic tree. The great tree symbolizes the axis of the universe connecting heaven and earth. Its branches represent the sky, the trunk, the earth, and the roots, the underworld. Thus, Mount Sumeru became the link between heaven and earth. Jainism holds Mount Kailash sacred as the very place where Shambhala, its fourth great spiritual awakening master, known as a great hero and historical founder of Jainism, achieved ultimate spiritual awakening. Later, Mahavira, the 24th and final master, codified and finalized the core tenets: non-violence, truth, non-attachment, and the path to liberation from rebirth. The Bon religion, emphasizing harmony with nature, non-violence, reincarnation, which is Tibet's indigenous pre-Buddhist spiritual tradition, the oldest faith on the Tibetan plateau, regards Mount Kailash as the center of the universe and the abode of the sky goddess, also as a sacred axis connecting heaven and earth. It's a theory brought up by Ernst Maldyshev, a renowned Russian ophthalmologist, medical doctor, and professor. In his book, Where Do We Come From?, he argued that Mount Kailash is not a naturally formed landscape, but a man-made giant pyramid. During a 3-month field survey in 1999, Maldyshev and his team observed that Mount Kailash features an almost perfectly symmetrical 4-sided pyramidal shape, with its peak and slopes precisely aligned to the 4 cardinal directions: east, west, south, and north. They further claim that the main peak, standing at approximately 1,800 meters high, far taller than the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, is surrounded by more than 100 smaller pyramid-shaped mountains and rock formations, forming a massive pyramidal complex across the region. The team also identified unique concave and semicircular rock structures around the mountain, which they named stone mirrors, asserting that these structures can manipulate energy fields and even affect the flow of time. However, his theory was completely rejected by mainstream geological and archaeological communities as pseudoscience. And no more scaling is permitted out of respect for the mountain's status as a holy site. In esoteric traditions, Mount Kailash is the ultimate terrestrial anchor linking the legendary realms of Shambhala and Agatha to the physical world. Shambhala is pure spiritual. It is a mythical hidden kingdom in Tibetan Buddhist and Bon traditions, described in the Kalachakra Tantra, a scripture taught by the Buddha at modern-day Amaravati, India, and later transmitted to the kingdom of Shambhala. It is often envisioned as a realm of enlightened beings that will guide humanity toward a golden age. Only the enlightened souls can visit Shambhala through a hidden portal envisioned in Mount Kailash. Agatha is physical. It is a legendary subterranean civilization said to exist in a vast network of canvas beneath the Earth's surface, with the capital city often called Shambhala. It is a central concept in modern occultism and hollow earth theories. The most famous records about Agatha perhaps relate to Nazi Germany's expeditions in 1938 to 1939. Hitler sent teams to Tibet looking for the kingdom of Shambhala, also in the desperate hope of finding a magical approach to reverse time when he was facing extreme setbacks on World II battleground. And we all know what happened in the last. The Yeti, also known as the Abominable Snowman, is a legendary ape-like creature said to inhabit the high mountain ranges of the Himalayas, including regions near Mount Everest and Mount Kailash. Most accounts describe the Yeti as a large, bipedal, humanoid, or ape-like creature, 3 to 5 meters tall, adapted to extreme cold, strong, muscular, with long arms and a short, stocky build. Many local people treat them with respect rather than fear, viewing them as a mountain spirit, a guardian of the high ranges, or a sacred being. Modern interest exploded in the 20th century. driven by Western explorers and climbers. In the early 1900s, some Western mountaineers reported seeing large, hairy figures and mysterious footprints in the snow. In 1951, British explorer Eric Shipton took highly publicized photographs of large human-like footprints in the Himalayas, making the Yeti a global sensation. And reports of witnesses kept growing in the later decades. But until today, there is no solid proof of the existence of the Yeti. No reliable photo, video, skeleton, or physical specimen has been scientifically verified. In Sadhguru's core teaching, Mount Kailash is the greatest mystical library on the planet. People have been making pilgrimage there for thousands of years, generally 10,000 to 12,000 years. Many say much longer. In yogic culture, we do not see Shiva as God, but as the Adi Yogi, the first yogi, and Adi Guru, the first guru. Starting from Shiva, yogis of all traditions have stored everything they knew in Mount Kailash in a certain energy form. South Indian mysticism says Agastya Muni, the foundation of the tradition, lives on the southern face. Buddhists say the three main Buddhas reside in the mountain. Jains say Rishabh lives there. This does not mean they are physically present. They deposited all the knowledge because social conditions did not allow full transmission. Mount Kailash is not a library of books, but a living repository of wisdom. It uses the 5 elements and a non-physical energy dimension for permanent storage. The knowledge here is not a set of conclusions, but a powerful catalyst for awakening. Touch it, and it ignites your inner dimensions. Born into a Tibetan Buddhist family, you have grown up with tales of Mount Kailash, the sacred center of the world, the link between heaven and earth, the gateway to the mythical realm Shambhala. It all etched deep into your soul, became part of flesh and blood. When you came to age, you were finally qualified to join the pilgrimage team. Before setting off, your family chanted prayers for you, preparing white katas, butter lamps, prayer beads, and blessed amulets. In the pilgrimage team, which consisted of old men in the 60s and 70s who had been preparing for this journey from almost all their lives. Young men like you who considered it a significant life-changing opportunity, even a pregnant woman who insisted on embarking on this spiritual journey. The real pilgrimage means kowtowing every 3 steps, measuring the earth with your body. The journey is long and unforgiving. While crossing the Dharmala Pass, oxygen deprivation and exhaustion threaten to break you, and the bitter wind tears at your souls. There are no warm houses at night. You can only pitch a simple tent in the wilderness, sleeping against a cold wind and a starry sky. Yet when you lift your eyes to the holy snow peak, faith ignites your heart. This suffering is practice. This hardship is purification. In the end of this video, I'd like to share some useful traveling information. If you want to come to Tibet and enjoy the breathtaking view of Mount Kailash and explore the mysteries yourself, foreign travelers to Mount Kailash must apply for the Tibet travel permit and border permit through a licensed travel agency. Independent travel is not permitted. The most common route starts from Lhasa to Taching, the base town for the Kora around Mount Kailash. You can take a direct long-distance bus, which takes about 25 to 26 hours, or choose a shared or private car for more flexibility. For a faster option, you may fly from Lhasa to Gari Gunsa Airport, then take a car for about 3 hours to Taching. But I highly recommend you to stay in Lhasa for at least 3 days, adjusting to the high altitude, meanwhile visiting some tourist sites like Potala Palace, Jangkong Temple, and Bog's Bakor Street. And if you're interested in the major scenic spots in Tibet, you can leave a comment. I will cover it in my future video. The full Kora is about 52 kilometers on foot, usually completed in 2 to 3 days. A round-trip charter car is available for visiting nearby Lake Manasarova. Foreign travelers are recommended to join a small group or private tour arranged by a travel agency, which includes permits, transportation, accommodation, and oxygen for safety and convenience. The best travel seasons are May, June, September, and October. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm Verona. If you like my content, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'm always here to share more strange and fascinating Eastern stories with you. See you next time.